Hello. What's happening? So, I am wholly torn right now because I'm trying to do the Metal Zone concert calendar, but also I want to do the live stream, but also I'm on the air, and also I need to eat something because I'm getting hungry. It's not that I'm starving though, because I did actually make an omelet today. Really good too. I had some like leftover pesto eggplant, and what did I put in that thing? Hey, you girl! I saw you on TikTok with those sunglasses, and I love them. I'm sorry that you have the eye scratch thing, but those sunglasses look amazing. Yeah, and the omelet was a total fail. I should have let the pan cool down more before I put the eggs in, and it did that whole bubble up thing, and it was like cooked too much too fast, so that I couldn't flip it really. And I mean, it was okay because it didn't cook, it didn't burn, so that was good news. But yeah, it basically was more of a scramble. Sweet midnight, huh? I gotta be honest, I have entirely too many sunglasses right now. And I'm only using half the ones I have. The other half are like in a box in my garage that a bunch of shit just got thrown into to do the remodel 2 years ago, and I haven't even emptied it. Ham and cheese omelet. You know what I love is a ham on rye, but I also love everything on rye because rye is my favorite thing. So let's see, what did we do? We did pesto eggplant, mozzarella, and pine nuts. Never underestimate the power of toasted pine nuts. Thunderwolf, look at you. Happy almost Halloween indeed. Yes, Dan, a Reuben is one of my favorite things ever. When I was a kid, my Granny Mac used to take this little loaf of cocktail rye, and it was all these little thin cocktail ryes that were like about this big, and she would put a little bit of mayonnaise on it and a little bit of cheese, and then she'd put it in the toaster oven, and it would be like these little mini toasted cheeses. And to this day, that is my favorite flavor of all time. Hell yeah, Reubens are great. How many milligrams did you take, brah? For anybody who's new here, Thunderwolf works at a pot shop. Wait, do you still work at the pot shop, bro? I remember there was some sketchy shit going on there and a bunch of people were getting laid off. Did you survive? Am I remembering that right? I know, right, PJ? Thunderwolf showed up today. Kind of impressed. I feel like I should let him take over the live stream. Oh, damn it. Totes forgot I had the station turned all the way up, so now I'm going to get copyright strike. You can't monetize, blah, 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 blah. But the good news is I got my monetization back, so it's fine. In fact, a lot of times what they do now is they'll be like, now it's a revenue sharing agreement because you got to pay AC/DC for everything because you had the gall to accidentally have them on in the background. But whatever. I'm sure there are a lot of people using the actual songs to boost their YouTube views. Oh my God. Thank you, Davey. I say that all the time. First rule of edibles, never eat the whole cookie or the whole brownie or the whole whatever it is. If it's a food product, do not eat the whole thing. Ever. No security guard there? So wait. And no milligrams? Wow. So wait, are you working there and there's no security? Or are you not working there and there's no security? I'm confused. What could you barely hear, Dan? Oh, you could barely hear the AC/DC. Oh, okay. Yeah, but that doesn't matter. That algorithm will pick it up. And when the algorithm picks it up, you just get, because famously that happened to my Zachy Vengeance interview, which you can see on my YouTube page. It's actually really a sweet interview. At one point, we're talking about the Rev, and he kind of like tears up, and I was like, so sweet. He also says, like 1,000 times, and that's what all the comments are about. Zachy, Vengeance. And so we posted up the interview, and I didn't know exactly how YouTube worked at that point. I just put up the interview, and the band reposted it, and it just started getting like crazy hits. And I had no idea that there was an area of my YouTube that I should have been checking where I got hit with a copyright strike from, or whatever they called it, from the record company. And by the time I saw it, the video was already at like 70,000 hits or something crazy like that. And so I contested it, which took like another, I don't know, 2 weeks to a month or something crazy like that. So by the time I won it, I'd lost out on all the hits. Basically just like what happened to me last week. And I kind of have to wonder, like, does YouTube have an algorithm that detects when all of a sudden you've got like a high, when all of a sudden you start getting like a peak of hits? Does YouTube detect it and then like hit you with a copyright strike or some shit? I don't know. But what happened was there was a band doing sound check in another room, and you can't even really hear it because he and I are talking into microphones, but it was in the ambient audio just enough for the algorithm to pick it up and for the record company to just automatically trigger a strike. Like, it was all auto, like there were 0 humans involved in the situation. So because there was a band sound checking in the next room, it thought that I was using their music in my video, where I fucking wasn't. Actually, if I could have gotten rid of that band, it would have been awesome, but I could not. And I eventually, like I said, I won that appeal, but you win the battle, you lose the war, right? Because I lost out on like, probably, I think it was like 70,000 hits or something crazy like that. So everyone, please go and watch my Zachy Vengeance interview to help make up for that, because it was bullshit. Thunderwolf, you are the exception to eating the whole thing because you have like the most bizarre weed tolerance ever. This motherfucker tapped in after having eaten like 100 milligrams. I would die at 100 milligrams. I almost died at 25 milligrams once. I accidentally ate 25 milligrams once, and it was a little tiny piece of chocolate this big, and I had been misinformed. I had been told it was CBD, but no, it was THC. And I was out cold from like, let's see, I took it at 1 in the afternoon, and I was out until like 9 o'clock at night. I mean, I kind of stumbled around, like from 1 to 2, I was like, fine. And then around 2, I was like, feeling a little high. What's going on here? And then at 3, I was like, oh shit. And then I went and looked at the package and was like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. So I think I made like a baked potato or something to try and kind of like offset. At that point, it was like way too late. And then I was like, well, I'm just going to watch cartoons for the afternoon. And I had to go work the door at Q Bar in the city. So I knew I had some time. So I like set a couple of alarms. And then after a while of trying to watch cartoons, I was like, nope, can't deal with conscious functioning. I'm just going to bed. And I went to bed and I slept, and I woke up at like, I don't know, I think 8:30, 9 o'clock, and just like bolted out the door. And I was like in San Francisco working the door by like 10 or 11. And I worked from like 10 or 11 to like 2 a.m. And then I was fine. But yeah, edibles will take you down. Hey, Christopher. My Thursday's cool. Crackers and port wine cheese and prosciutto. That sounds good. I'm not a big fan of salmon, but because I don't like fish. But the lox are kind of okay because they're raw. And they're not very fishy. It's kind of like having sushi. So I'm okay with that. But you know what? Now cured meats are ultra processed foods. So prosciutto, salami, all that yummy shit has to be like just a little bit now. Otherwise, it'll kill you. Have I ever been to Roblar, California, population 41? Not that I recall. The fuck? Did you break down there or something? You're not working there and there's no security. Oh no. Did you get a new job? How are you going to eat like massive milligrams of weed without a job in the weed industry, bruh? You ate 300 once? Jesus. What cartoons did I watch? Well, I'll tell you what, Dan. Hey Jacob. I started out with Rick and Morty and I was like, I can't follow this. It's too complicated. And then I flipped over to something else and I don't remember what it was, but I was like, everything is too complicated. So then I was like, I grabbed my remote and I was like, Looney Tunes. Play Looney Tunes. And I think it did. And I still was just all, and that's when I went to bed. Not all the good stuff kills you. I mean, berries are fucking delightful and they're super good for you. Chock full of antioxidants and whatever else. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Usually I'll record some breaks before I talk to you guys so that I don't have to keep an eye on it, but I did not because I was trying to reach Steve Gorman so that we could record our podcast, but I did not reach him. So you watched regular shows, Dan? Well, I was just so fucking high, dude. That was a once in a lifetime occasion, man. I mean, it's pretty hard to accidentally eat 25 milligrams when you're a lightweight like I am. Hi, it's the Bone.
Hi, yes. I'm calling in regards to, I heard on the radio today was your last day to apply for the tickets for Metallica.
I think it is. I think it's today. And that's at 1077thebone.com. What's that?
I don't have a computer or nothing. Yeah, it's for, they said it's the last I heard on the radio, but I don't have a computer at home. So I'm just wondering, they said to call this phone number, so that's why I'm calling it too. See how can I apply for that. I guess it's special tickets. You guys have a package or something like that?
There's a prize pack and it's available at Yeah. You don't have a phone that accesses the internet?
Sometimes the internet is good, but sometimes it's not. So how would I go about it?
You just go to 1077thebone.com and then click on the contest link and put your information in to enter the contest.
Oh, I see. Okay. But is that the only way to do it? I can't do the website.
The only way to do it over the phone would be for me to go to the website and ask you your information and have you relay it to me so that I could put it in the same way you could put it in.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like it has to be entered online either way. So
either way, yes.
It's probably easier for you to access the website even on your phone than it is for me to put your information into the website for you.
I see. Okay. So I go to what website? I go to
1077thebone.com.
And then when it comes up, it'll push what the link.
You'll see a picture and it'll say Metallica prize pack entered here.
Yeah, prize pack in here. Okay. And then I just put all the information, submit it.
It will ask you for information and you will enter your information that it asks for.
I see. Okay. But it will say that the price pack Metallica. That's what it used to push.
I mean, I haven't looked at it, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Let me see what's. Yeah, I mean, Yeah. So if you go to 1077thebone.com, we have a big picture on the front with multiple advertising things. And one of them says Metallica M72 World Tour No Repeat Weekend. You could win vinyl, turntable tickets, and merch. And you want to click on that. And it will take you to another page that will give you a form to fill out with your name, phone number, date of birth, and address and email. And then you submit that on that online form. And that is how you enter the contest.
So I go to the price tag, and then you said merge on what now?
I'm gonna have to put you on hold because I've got to go on the air here in a sec. And I'm not sure how to put you on hold in them because I never do that. Let's see.
Oh man, I wish I would have.
Just hang on.
Mm-hmm.
And don't make any noise.
Thank you very much.
One oh seven seven The Bone and Foghat talking about the slow ride. I'm Nikki Blakk, and you know, the slow ride today looks as bad as it does every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because those are the 3 days that everybody seems to have to drive into work now. I don't see anything crazy out there, but you never know when it's going to pop off because it's the Bay, right? Hold on, I can't do that. That sounds terrible. This whole thing is frustrating now. Just a moment. What else is more interesting to talk about than that? What 1077 The Bone and Foghat with Slow Ride. I'm Nikki Blakk, and you know, Tim Burton, legendary spooky director, says that he thinks the internet depresses him, so he doesn't use the internet. Instead, he prefers to look at clouds. And I got to be honest, after having spent an awful lot of time on the internet lately, I can't argue with him. Also, the Beetlejuice house is now available as one of those Airbnb promotions. You know how Airbnb is kind of like they did the Prince house? Now they're doing the Beetlejuice house, and it's like a free experience, but you kind of have to reserve it and then win it to get it. But it's the actual house where they did Beetlejuice, and they've done it up to be a haunted house, which I'm kind of 100% into, and I'm wondering how I can win this. There we go. That's a long intro. That'll have to work. Okay. Speaking of internet, tell me again why you're having trouble using the internet and how I can help. Ma'am?
Hello, yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah. Okay. So you're trying to win the Metallica contest, right? So
Yeah.
do you have a phone with internet?
Yes, I do have Wi-Fi in there, but I sometimes when I go on the internet for some reason, I don't know, maybe I don't know how to use it. I don't know. And but usually, like for other things, I try to go on having to do with the job. It always never works for me, and it just goes through. I don't know why. So that's why I was asking if there was another way to do it.
Yeah, the only other way I could think of to do it would be for me to do it for you.
How long does it take, like, Marla?
I don't know. How long does it take for you to give me your information and for me to type it in?
5 minutes or less. Nothing.
In theory, I suppose. Yeah.
I mean, if you're able to, I don't want to inconvenience you. I would really appreciate that. Really, what is on my heart. But if you can't, I understand. I do try to find another way.
Okay.
If you're able.
You know what? At this point, it sounds like the easiest way is for me to just do this for you. What's your name?
That's another thing. Do they need my full name or because I have a nickname? My full name is Rosalie on my license, but then my nickname is Rosie
And your last name?
Munoz. M-U-N-O-Z.
And yeah, you are now entered to win the Metallica prize pack.
Oh, wow, I'm excited. Thank you so much. You don't realize how much that means to me. It does a lot.
Oh, well, you're welcome and good luck.
Thank you so much. Have a nice night.
You too, Rosie. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, it's the Bone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I dialed the wrong thing, but I got through. Did I win?
Did you win what?
I don't know. I just woke up.
Okay.
Okay.
What can I do for you?
I don't know. I redialed and hit the bone.
Yep. Yep. That's what happened. I was here. I remember.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
No, did I win anything?
Of course not. Why would you win anything randomly calling?
Oh, no. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. If you hadn't seen that, if you hadn't seen both those calls happen in real life, would any of you have believed any of that if I tried to tell you that story? Oh my God. Hi, Justine. Hi, Philip. Who have I missed? Anybody else? Hi, Kelly. Aw, PJs. Be safe. Hey, Mike. I know, right? Just go to the website and figure it out. I don't give a shit what your internet problems are, bitch. You had months to enter this. This contest has been up for weeks, and you're calling me on the last day with like, oh my God, can you please help me? Yeah, Kelly, I think there's definitely something going on there. Some sort of disconnect. Hey, Tom. Yeah. Yeah, I know, Jacob. I'm a saint. Hey, John, I'm kind to most of the dummies, but you know what? When they start to irritate me, I get mean, so just know that. Um, yeah, Mike, this is just as bad. I mean, dude just like woke up, picked up his phone and hit redial and then was like, "Did I win anything?" Like the fact that those two calls came back to back is just wow. I mean, really? You know what, Justine? There's a lot of things she could do. Hey, Carlton, what's happening, man? Yeah, I don't know if I'm alive anymore. I'm not entirely sure. So I'll be honest. Hey, Shireen, I know it's crazy. I had to mute. Oh yeah. Sorry, Justine. I was gonna mute it after her name. I wasn't gonna give her information out to you guys because that would have been creepy. Um, it would be hilarious if she won, Tom. It would be absolutely hilarious. Um, yeah, it's not just nice of me. It's also you never know if somebody's gonna sue you, right? And I don't know how it works, but I know with every single contest we have, there has to be like a way for everyone to be accessible to it. And I don't know if that happens on the internet or not, you know. But there are some kind of laws out there that make sure that you like have to be sure that everybody has an equal opportunity to enter your contest. You know, it's that whole no purchase necessary thing. And I don't know what the deal is, but honestly, at that point, it's easier for me to just enter that shit in than fucking try and explain life to this woman who clearly can't operate her phone internet by herself at home because it's always never working. Always never. Did anybody catch that? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, Mike, I can help you figure it out. What do you need to figure out? Life? That woman needed to figure out life. Like, honestly, if this is her level of function, entering to win a Metallica prize pack should not be her priority at this point. Just my opinion. Hey, Karen, I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah. Nobody needs me mad at them. Trust. I know. It was ridiculous, right? Can I get your passport application started? Don't you have a passport? If you already have a passport, then just go to the post office with it and they'll help you. Don't they still do that at post offices? Last time I needed a passport, that's where I went. In fact, last time I needed a passport, I remember bringing the photo. I remember I went to all the trouble to get the passport photo at Kinko's, and then I brought the photo with me to the post office, and they were like, "Yeah, Kinko's ripped you off. They took your photo wrong, and we have to do it again." And they were like, "Don't even bother like trying to do anything in advance. Just come here because you're probably going to do it wrong, and we'll just have you doing it right." I went to the Walnut Creek post office, and it was super easy. But just Google which post offices have the passport office in them as well, I believe, and unless it's all changed because of the pandemic, but you can check on that. Did you win anything? I know. Did I win anything? No, fucker. Get the fuck off my fucking phone. Jesus Christ. Sorry. It's hard to tell that I curse like a sailor in real life when you hear me on the air all the time and I can't curse, right? Oh, shit. Hold on. Erp. Oh, it's already there. Okay. Do you like how I did that whole break and then was like, this sounds stupid? I'm not saying that. Sometimes I just have to do that to myself, you know? It's Candlebox on 107.7 The Bone. I'm Nikki Blakk, and don't get left behind. You want to be listening in just about 10 minutes when I give you a keyword that could send you to Las Vegas, baby, to see Motley Crue in their new spring residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM. Keyword coming at you in 10 minutes. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now I'm not even hungry anymore. At any rate, Sorry, I have to keep having the music like in the headphones so that I know, so I don't miss a break like I just almost did. All righty. Yeah. Did you see that shit, Kevin? See how nice I can be to people? So don't piss me off because I can also be not nice. Where do we go to get our potty mouths fixed? Fuck if I know. I am not a sailor, Dan. I have sailed, but I am not a sailor. I would never sail solo. Although it is kind of a goal of mine to take sailing lessons because I have a friend who is a sailor and he'll take me out on a boat every once in a while and we'll go sailing in the bay and I fucking love it. But I just don't have time. Shit's too out of control these days. Yeah. I said I'm a saint who curses like a sailor. Thanks, Justine. I appreciate you correcting him. Saving me the trouble. Well, I think for if you grew up in my generation, yes, that potty mouth is pretty ingrained. You know, I mean, my life in the 90s was basically a Kevin Smith movie. You know, we sat around smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee and talking shit like all day long in the 80s and the 90s, really. That's why I'm so healthy now, because I smoked cigarettes from like 85 to 95. I mean, I wasn't a heavy smoker. I was never one of those like pack a day people. I was like a pack a week kid. There was probably a point in time when I was like a pack a day smoker, like in 94. That was a rough year. But outside of that, no. God, I hope my mom doesn't tap in. She'll have a heart attack. She knows this, don't get me wrong, but she, you know, if she has to hear it, she'll just be like, I can't believe you did that. I worry about you. What do you mean I don't look like a sailor? Sailors don't look like this? I don't understand. Yeah, my friend Carl, who is my sailor friend, he says that there's a sailing school like in Richmond, I think. But I think it's just for kids. I don't think there's a grown-up sailing school. I don't know. I need to find out. Isam, what does oh la 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 mean? Oh, is that ooh la la? Is that supposed to be like a compliment? It's more of like a guttural utterance. Oh, we already get along, Justine. Yeah, 80s, 90s, man. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to Testament Creator, Kev. I'm trying to figure it out because it's the same time as the Niner game, which reminds me, I got to text Baby Huey and see what his plans are. During the show, you were like people are funny. Let's see. What was I doing? Oh, I was texting Baby Huey. See if he's awake. Oh. Hey, comma, are you... What is your plan for the Niner game on Sunday? Question mark. I'm trying to see if I can do Niners and Testament. Question mark. Pandora, hi, sweetie. Super bummed I missed you at Guar. Fucking, I can't believe Sip and I were both there and you missed us both. How did you not spot us? You know, I mean, we were cackling our heads off everywhere, just like, ow. We had so much fun at Guar. Dan, you operated a locomotive? I don't know what that means or has to do with anything. Cool, comma, of course, dot, dot, dot. Keep me posted, question mark. I'm going to see what George's plans are too, comma. I might roll in with him and out with you and then Uber or something. I don't know. I guess I should check with George while I'm thinking on it. Hey, comma, what's the game plan for Sunday, question mark, with it being a late game, comma, are you still going in at like stupid o'clock, question mark? I'm trying to figure out if I can do the game and the Testament show. Yeah, Sea Scouts for Kids, Tradewinds Sailing School in Berkeley. I think that's is Tradewinds for a captain's license? Because I don't think I want a captain's license. I just want to learn how to sail. I mean, I know how to tack and I know some basics, but what I really need to learn is just more. Maybe I do want a captain's license. I don't know. What's the difference between a captain's license and a sailor's license? Or do you need a sailor's license? I don't think you need a license at all in California, actually. I think you can just get on a boat and do what you want. I remember him saying that. I remember him just being like, yeah, anybody could get on a boat in California. There's no like real like PJ, some truck driver went past me today and I was like, he was so aggressive. I thought he was you. Like this dude was late for dinner the whole way, just like pushing. And I was like, you need to calm the fuck down, brother. He was going faster than almost all the traffic. And I was just like, this won't end well. And then I let him pass me, obs, because I don't need to hold anybody back. Like, but he passed me and then I ended up passing him again later. And it was funny because he was passing me going downhill on 24, right? And you know how 24 splits off to like 580 or the bridge? Well, I do 24 and then 580 the bridge. And he passed me on the left, but then like in less than a mile, he had gone all the way over. He must have like bolted across traffic. And this was like not a double trailer, but like a semi with, it wasn't a box truck. Like it was like it was like a full trailer. And that motherfucker was like ahead of me going into the toll plaza. And I was like, God damn. Like he had to have navigated some really awkward traffic. Dude was unsafe. Brian, what is savage? What did I miss? Happy Thursday. Isam, I don't know what you're saying, but hi. Is there a translation button around here? I can't tell. No, it doesn't let me translate. Will I see you at Halloween things? I'm trying to get to Testament and I might I'm going to try and go to Opeth. And then I've got the Bones party, right? We've got our Halloween party at Vinny's in San Francisco, at Vinny's in Concord. Sorry, this thing's too loud in my head. Okay, there we go. So let's see, where am I? It's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. I will be here. Saturday, I will be at Vinny's in Concord. Sunday, I will be at the 49er game and then possibly Testament afterwards if I can get to it. And then Tuesday, I'll be at the DNA for Lillian Axe. And if I can swing by on my way home and catch a little bit of Black Dahlia Murder. No, not Black Dahlia Murder. Who is it? Where's my fucking calendar at? This is the calendar I was working on, by the way, when I tapped into the live stream on account of... Oh, no, I canceled that interview, so it's not that. There's something else at the UC Theater. Dirt. Hold on. It's High on Fire at the UC Theater. So I want to try and see if I can catch High on Fire on my way home on Tuesday, and then maybe Wednesday with Opeth, and then What was the other one? Asking Alexandria on Friday? No, I'm not going to that one. I'm going to Brian Posehn is on Friday at Cobb's. So catch me at one of those. Oh, hang on, I gotta do this. I gotta mute this because it's a contest word. You know what I forgot to do is double check for the commercials tomorrow. Can't believe I forgot to do that. I get really mad when I forget that because it's a big deal. All right, cool. They're there. All right. Then I'm going to reset this because we've had a little ghost in the machine action around here. So it's been good to just like reset things once in a while. Okay, do I need to do a live read there? I do not. Okay. Whew. And then she said, where were we? You're just saying if you can operate a locomotive, then I can be a sailor. I think both of those things are entirely true. I think I could be a sailor. I think if I wanted to, I could operate a locomotive. I don't know. My former father-in-law was a brakeman conductor. And he also used to be a raging alcoholic and drug addict. And he did that job high as fuck. So I figure, I probably could do it. If I set my mind to it. He got sober by the time he was my father-in-law. And he was a lovely man. Let's see. Come to Benicia. Somebody out of your marina can teach me all that. There's plenty of sailboats over there and it's close. Well, yeah, but is there like a school where I could like sign up with somebody and stuff? Right? PJ is hell of aggressive as a fucking truck driver. Is there a sailing school in Benicia? Because I would do that. I want to buy a boat, but I don't think I want a sailboat. I think I just want to learn to sail so that when other people take me sailing on their boat, I am more proficient than I already am. And I also want to buy like a boat that I can ski behind, which everybody keeps telling me not to do. But you know what? Fuck that. I'm tired of not having a boat. I want to be a person with a boat. It's in Richmond. The captain's license is the sailing license. Okay. Tugboat operator. I don't know. You might have to be a legacy to be a tugboat operator, Jacob. Those are long-time union jobs. You would love to hear a cover of Christopher Cross's Sailing by a thrash band? John, I don't know if I'd be mad at that, actually. Aaron, now that you think about it, your grandfather had an old saying, better to be pissed off than pissed on. Your grandpa said that? Your grandpa sounds weird. Justine, you've seen someone do that on a 4-lane highway? That's basically where this guy was, except he started off in the middle lane. But he had to cross 4 lanes to get to where he was on towards the bridge. So I was like, damn, dude. Wasn't you? You were in Cambria? Okay. Oh, you were calling PJ a savage. Yeah. UC Theater Rocky Horror Picture Show Saturday on October 31st. Yeah, you know what? I probably should stop by that one as well. Fuck. Why is everything always on the same day? Opeth will be like right when I get off work. So in theory, I could do both. Like I could drive down to the Warfield. I park in the TL. I don't give a fuck. And then I could catch like the first few of Opeth and then hop back in my car, head over the bridge. The hard part will be parking by the UC Theater. Parking's tough over there. And then I could pop in on Rocky Horror Picture Show. I don't know. If I pop in on Rocky Horror Picture Show, I feel like a loser if I don't pop in with like mad costume because I did used to do Rocky Horror Picture Show at the UC Theater and I always dressed up. So I feel like if I just like show up not in costume, it's like a cop-out move. Although, you know, now that I think about it, usually somebody gives me some kind of a call or a text saying that like all of our old cast people are in town and that there's like a rehearsal and that we're all going to meet at Spats for after rehearsal for like a catch-up sesh. And now that I think about it, I have not been alerted or invited. And I just have to wonder, maybe they don't want me there. You know, cast politics can get kind of wonky and you never know. Maybe people are like, fuck that bitch. We're tired of her shit. Because they've known me since I was like 15, you know? I don't know if you can believe this, but I used to be more obnoxious. Did I ever get a wetsuit? I don't have a new wetsuit, Justine. No. Hey, Marlon. Yeah, because you know I'm tapping out here in like 15. Maybe less. Oh, God, Justine, where was I going to get... I had like a backup plan for wetsuit, didn't I? And now I've forgotten what it was. I still want to go to Santa Cruz and get one, but now that I can't remember now. Did I know somebody that was going to help me get a wetsuit? And I just don't remember. Kelly used to be a long haul truck driver. What? You know, my friend Bryn, she tapped on a couple days ago and I was like, hey, are you still in Texas? And she's like, well, I live there, but now I'm in Kentucky as in my new job as a truck driver. And I was like, what? I don't know how to describe her past job, but it was like marketing-ish. It was very much not like truck driver. Maybe Bryn will pop in and like clarify, but yeah, I was all, what the heck? Let's see. Oh, he used to say a lot of things that made sense only to him. That sounds like grandpa's. B. Hobbs, you use Bart from Pleasant Hill to go to the UC Theater shows and eat at the pizza place on the corner. Pizza place on the corner? I don't know. But I'll be coming from work, dude. So I'll be in the city and I'll have my car. So it's not like I can, you know, and if I go to Opeth, it's not a midnight show on Halloween. It's like I don't know what time it starts. Probably 9 o'clock or something. You're a social worker now, Kelly? Oh my God. Congratulations. How much do you love it? It's one of those exhausting but rewarding things, right? Yeah, I should try on my wetsuit. I mean, it's been a year since I was in the water, but it worked fine. I mean, it was a little bit loose. But it's a really great suit. Fucking 9 a.m. Jesus. Fucking okay. Okay, comma. I'm waiting to see what Baby Huey says. What am I eating, Pacho? I am eating steel cut oats that I made with apples and cinnamon and maple syrup and walnuts. It's delicious. It's not stupid, but it's early. I love you, George, but 9 a.m. on a Sunday is still stupid early. He leaves at 6. Like he is out the door at 6 o'clock. They're going to be in line 3 hours before the gates open. I love all of you, but I do not have that in me. Like, just no. Nope. What if I just don't go to the Niner game? I got to count the Niner games and see if I can still make my 6, right? Hang on. I'm going to put a break in here so I don't miss it. Oh, actually, this one's not. There's no contest here. I don't have to meet that. Oh, tomorrow's Friday, isn't it? Let me see. Oh, nah. Sorry. I was looking at next week's contests. Okay. Nope. It's the Eagles on 107.7 The Bone. I'm Nikki Blakk, and don't forget, tomorrow is your last chance to enter the Eagles contest that we are having. Did you know that the Eagles have extended their resort? The Eagles have extended their resort. Hold on. This is why I do them in advance, because doing them like in the spot now just means I stumble more, and I don't want to do that. 107.7 The Bone and the Eagles with Heartache tonight. I'm Nikki Blakk, and the Eagles have extended their residency in Las Vegas through March. And you know, tomorrow is the last chance you have to enter to win a trip to Vegas to see that residency at the Sphere. We're giving away a trip for one lucky bonehead and a friend to stay at the Venetian Resort, round trip airfare, of course, a VIP package consisting of, check this out, priority entry to the Sphere, a commemorative keepsake, and access to the VIP fan experience. So if you're wanting to win this bad boy, be listening tomorrow morning to Lamont and Snelly in the 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. hours, and then with Shasta in the 11 a.m. hour, and then with me for your very last chance tomorrow in the 3 o'clock hour on 107.7 The Bone. All right. There. Wow, exclamation point. How did that happen? Question mark. Yeah, Justine, I really got to get that wetsuit thing back in order so that I can get in the water. I have some friends who I can maybe go surfing with. I just haven't been able to get my shit together, you know? Like you guys know, I'm tired. I go straight home, I go straight to bed. Or if I'm going someplace, it's, you know, someplace music related so that it's like kind of work related so that I can social media and see Bonehedge and hang out. And by extension, do work. I don't do 9 a.m.s unless I have to, but to be fair, to go in with George and them on tailgate days, I have done the 6 a.m. I think I also threw up that day, but I have done it. Doors are at 7, show at 8 for Rocky Horror. Ooh, yeah. So basically, if I want to go, I'd have to leave right after work. So it would be Opeth or Rocky Horror. Or I just go home and go back to bed. I mean, at this point, there's an equal chance of all three of those things. Dan, you already get a 3-day weekend? Show off. Go to Testament because the Niners suck. Wow, PJ. That's a bit extreme. Jesus, man. Well, like I said, I have to do 6 games to justify my credential. So I might have to count those games and see. Because it has been pretty depressing watching them get their asses kicked lately. But also it's the Cowboys, right? Like if we got a chance to win one, it's this one. But also, do you hear there's like a bunch, it's like way more, there's like a lot more bad news injury-wise. I walked over to KMBR earlier and I heard them talking to Shanahan and it was like, everybody's sick or injured or whatever. And I was like, fuck. But, you know, you're called the faithful for a reason. But also Testament. Fuck. Oh. We'll see. I mean, it would be super easy on me just to have Sunday off and just go to the fucking Testament show. A winery called Tooth and Nail. Is it owned by Don Dokken? That is crazy. Do I think I have burnout, Dan? Fuck yeah, I got fucking burnout. But I have burnout from life. Oh, thanks, Justine. I do get a lot of sleep. I mean, according to my app, I'm sleeping like 9 hours a night. But, you know. Hey, John. You deal with autistic burnout, Dan? I deal with burnout in general. Yeah. You know what happened earlier again today? Like there's something in my throat right here where if I go to take a breath too quickly, I'll go, it'll be like that. And I got a feeling that that's going to be part of my problem, but I need to make some appointments. I ain't giving up, Pacho. I will be bitter and talk a lot of shit, though. Sorry. Some friends are going to be doing the flag. Oh, I see what you mean. It's one of those giant flags, and then they just do they invite just a bunch of tailgaters to come be part of it? Like, how do they decide who holds the flag? I mean, there must be what, like 100 people around that flag, right? Question mark. Are they confusing burnout with depression? Well, you know, I am definitely stressed over the election. I'm definitely stressed over like my own time management. I'm stressed over ratings because we haven't heard anything about the ratings lately, which means they're not good. I take that back. It doesn't mean they're not good. It doesn't mean they're bad. It just means they're not good. So and then of course with the Niners losing, we're not going to get that boost either, like we did last year. You know what, Dan? Politics in general are not mind-numbing. What is mind-numbing is the disinformation that's out there and the people who are so convinced that they know what they're talking about when actually they don't fucking know shit. That's the mind-numbing part. Oh, Okan. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? Look at you live. Yes, very much stressed over the elections, darling. So much. And I'm sure for you, God, your whole business is going to pivot. So it's so frustrating. But yeah, and I'm super tired. Okan, are you home? I mean, my home? Because maybe I'll drop by your guys' place on Halloween night. Lord knows I need a martini like nobody's business. Oh, you're in the Vegas. Okay. Well, I'll see you for the holidays either way. I'm so happy to see you here, though. Yay. It's true, Dan. I mean, it's exhausting when politics come up in conversation because it's difficult to have an intelligent and kind conversation about politics. And I think we really need to fix that. And I'm guilty of it as well. I mean, I have definitely just exhausted myself to the point where, you know, I'm just yelling at people like, shut the fuck up. You don't even know what you're talking about. You're in a cult. But I'm trying really hard in these last couple weeks, these last, 10 days before the election, 11 days before the election, to just not be an asshole. And when people come at me, to narrow them down to what the issue is for them, you know, because I noticed that, I noticed that a lot of the reasons people are voting the way they are is because they live in this, like, everybody knows this kind of world. And remember how, like, everybody knew that Hillary Clinton was an asshole, and it turns out she kind of was not. And everybody was like, of course she's crooked. Look at her, what do you call it? The charity foundation, you know, and they were like, oh my God, of course Hillary Clinton is corrupt. Look at her charity foundation. And it's like, they did look at her charity foundation and there's nothing wrong with it. And then they looked at Trump's charity foundation and now he's literally not allowed to have a charity foundation anymore because he was so egregious. Like, dude literally spent money on multiple paintings of himself, like tens of thousands of charitable dollars buying paintings of himself. But he won the election because everybody just knew that Hillary Clinton was a terrible person, right? And I feel like, and I thought she was a terrible person too. I was like, oh God, really? And I was like during the primaries, right? I was trying to like convince people that it shouldn't be her. But every time I dug into what the issue was with her, turns out it was a nothing burger, to borrow a phrase. And then when she became by the time she became the nominee, because I was going for Elizabeth Warren at the time. And then by the time Clinton had become the nominee, I had dug into like every single thing about Hillary Clinton and was like, holy shit, she's a badass. So I've been kind of doing that with Kamala Harris too. I wasn't like a big fan of hers because why would you be a fan? Why would you be a fan of a DA or a senator or any of that? Like, if you're a fan of a politician, that's not how politics happen, you know? Um, yeah, right. Epstein didn't kill himself. Exactly, Jamie. It's hilarious. Even if Epstein didn't kill himself, like, I would absolutely be looking at MI6 before I would be looking at Clinton, right? Because all they have on Clinton, and it's not even Hillary, all they have is on Bill Clinton is that he was on the jet. But much like everyone else who's a billionaire, Epstein had a charity enterprise. Does this tell you anything about Donald Trump? Jeffrey Epstein was allowed to have a charity, and Trump is not. Like, of all the things, like, okay. I mean, it's not an apples to apples comparison, obviously, but yeah. So Epstein had a charity, and he would fly people on his plane to charitable functions. So everyone was on his jet that, like, he invited to these functions across both sides of the aisle. But Prince Andrew, if you're looking at somebody, if you really want to go down that conspiracy road, my money's on MI6 or the royal family. Because Prince Andrew is the one with the most damning evidence against him. There are people giving testimony against Prince Andrew in relation to Jeffrey Epstein. There's no testimony relating to any Clinton in any Epstein trial. I don't even know if there's Trump testimony, but we do know that he and Trump were bros at one point. I take that back. We had that Jane Doe that appeared. Remember, there were two girls who accused Trump and Epstein of rape, and one of them filed a lawsuit right before the 2016 election. And then she was supposed to give a press conference. And this is like right the week before the 2016 election. She was going to give a press conference and be like, here's my story. And then she backed out. And then I think within like 6 months, she either didn't continue the lawsuit or she withdrew the lawsuit. So I don't even consider that to be real evidence against Trump. And I don't even think you need to, because he's already been found liable for rape. Like, how many people need to come forward and say that he, like, groped or raped them before you actually think that maybe something happened? But we don't have to, because somebody proved in a court of law. Cool. At any point, I can talk about politics without having to be mean, or having to be mean to people, or having to, like, just like tout the party line. I'd rather talk about issues. The thing I'm finding, and all of this is because I posted that Insane Clown Posse story, because it's hilarious. If you have not seen the interview, one of the guys from The Daily Show goes to the gathering of the Juggalos in Ohio, and is asking the Juggalos who they're voting for. And of course, they're fucking Juggalos, right? They're Killer Clown music fans. So they're just like, politics, fuck voting, fuck that. But then he gets them talking, and it turns out that the Juggalos are concerned for the environment. The Juggalos believe in trans rights and individualism, and the Juggalos are pro LGBTQIA, and the Juggalos are actually left-leaning on a lot of issues. They just don't realize it because they never cared about politics. And that's the hilarity of this video, is this all these Juggalo interviews. But then at the end, they interview Insane Clown Posse's, I think, Violent J, who is like, my mom was a Democrat. I vote Democrat because I love my mom. And, Harris is my girl. And it's like, okay. And they get him talking a little bit about issues, but then in true ICP fashion, the mushrooms kick in, and he's just all, He's just literally nodding out in the interview. And I'm like, oh my God. So for me, as somebody who in the 90s, my ex-husband got way into those Joker cards, you know? Like I saw ICP at the Edge in Palo Alto. I stayed out of Fago range, but yeah, I was there. And I mean, I listened to all those albums and I can't say I get it, but I get it. I was there. I saw like what happened. I see what the appeal is. It's not my jam by any means, but I can see it. And just the fact that like juggalos are now endorsing Harris, like even the juggalos can see that what the important issues are, just like fucking juggalos, dude. I think they're hilarious. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is no matter who you like or don't like, it doesn't matter. You're not supposed to be a fan of your politicians. You're supposed to be a champion of the issues. So, rather than trying to decide what candidate you like the best, go look at their record on the issues that are important to you. And if you have trouble finding out what their record is, there's this website called Ad Fontes, and I'm just going to link it below. And it will give you the ID, it shows you which publications are most reliable and which publications are biased and in which direction they're biased, so that you can kind of decide by looking at it what's reliable and what's not. Because I think that's a huge part of the problem right now. Everybody just thinks they know this, right? Like somebody today said to me, it's common knowledge that Kamala Harris slept her way through her political career. No, it's not. What's common is the disinformation and the propaganda that has permeated our culture to the point where people think that's common knowledge. But she was already a district attorney. She was already a deputy district attorney. She dated Willie Brown for 2 years, 94 and 95. Willie Brown appointed her to 2 committees. That's it. He appointed her to 2 committees and she served on them and was still a deputy district attorney. And then they broke up in 95 and she was still a deputy district attorney. So her actual position didn't change at all for her relationship with Willie Brown. And then it was like 3 years later, she was recruited by the San Francisco DA. And then it was years after that, when he decided not to run again, that she ran for DA. And then it's years after that that she like went from DA to AG, Attorney General. And then she went from AG to not Senate, but Congress, right? Congress and then Senate, whatever. I got to double check. But so that's the thing, right? Like there's a lot of people out there who are like, I'm not voting for her because she had an affair and slept her way to the top. And it's like, okay, but she didn't. She dated Willie Brown 10 years into his separation from his wife. So he and his wife have been separated for 10 years when they dated. She dated him for 2 years. He appointed her to 2 committees and that was it. And then after that, she resumed her career right where her career was as deputy district attorney. The thing that bugs me the most about that is that I've had that happen to me. You know how many times I've overheard, or I've heard that through the grapevine, you know, everybody thinks I'm a groupie. They're like, oh yeah, of course she works backstage. You know, she's sucking dicks. And it's like, no. I dare you to try and find a single dick I sucked to get backstage. It doesn't exist. Never happened. Literally never happened. It's just frustrating that all it takes is somebody to say that and somebody else to repeat it. And then boom, it travels like wildfire. And then next thing you know, everybody just assumes I'm a groupie. Same thing with my job here, you know. I can assure you, I have never slept with anyone in radio. And And I've never slept with anybody on tour. Period. I just made that rule because I was like, well, clearly the only way for me to be above the gossip is to be above reproach, right? So I literally would not date anyone on tour ever. And doesn't matter. The truth does not matter. There's a lot of people out there still calling me a groupie, still saying I slept with somebody to get where I am, or I sucked somebody's dick to get backstage, or whatever, you know. And it's just, that's exhausting. I cannot even imagine how exhausting it is to be Kamala Harris right now because of all the shit talking. Like it's like if you want to talk shit, just make it be true. But it's everything that they're saying is like either not true or like really exaggerated or like a total stretch. I mean, you could complain about me. I'm late all the time. I have a terrible time with punctuality. I curse like a sailor. I am short-tempered. I can often overreact. There's a lot of criticisms that you could give me. Absolutely. I am ill-prepared. Often ill-prepared. But that's not what anybody criticizes me for, right? They call me a groupie. They say I'm stuck on myself. They say I'm a narcissist, or that I'm a groupie, or I don't know. Has anybody else heard anything? Those are the things I've heard. What else have I heard? I heard once that I was a social climber, and I was like, really? You'd think I'd be better at it. Oh God, I saw one. Oh, what did it say? I saw a meme that was like so spot on. It was like, if women could sleep their way to the top, there'd be a lot more women at the fucking top. You know? Like the casting couch, that was real. A lot of women got forced to sleep with directors to get parts. But that doesn't mean women were trying to sleep with directors to get parts. It was the other way around. Oh, thanks, Jacob. Thanks, Dan. Oh, thanks, Marlon. Don't worry. I mean, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I mean, the greater lesson here is that if you have friends or family that are voting for Trump or against Harris, and the information that they're acting on is inaccurate, maybe try and find a nice way to give them the truth. Sometimes they won't listen to it, and that's fine. And if they won't listen to it, they don't have to. But maybe they will. Every once in a while, an angel gets its wings, right? I mean, I used to argue a lot on the internet, especially about politics, especially in Trump's first term, and which is when I looked up all this stuff, and I know that there's a lot of people that weren't listening to me because of the way that that's a thing that we do in this country now, right? We don't care what people are saying. We care about how they're saying it. And for some reason, that's become like a legitimate reason to not listen to someone. I don't care what she's saying. She's an asshole about it. So in these last couple of weeks, I've avoided months and months of talking about the election, because in these last couple of weeks, I want people who are talking to me about it to A, not be fatigued, and B, give me an honest chance to show them the facts or the truth of a situation. You know, I don't think Kamala Harris is perfect, but I don't think anyone is. And I think that of those two candidates, she quite easily has the better resume, as well as the better record, as well as the better work ethic, as well as the greater breadth of experience, as well as the character needed. But I'm not naive to the point where I don't think I need to prove that to people. I need to prove that to people, but people have to give you the chance to prove it to them, and they won't if you're, telling them they're in a cult. Although, again, I'm not preaching from on high. I have told many a person they are in a cult as recently as this week. But I'm trying not to, And I have had an occasion where I've gone all the way to the mat about an issue. I'm talking hundreds of comments deep. And somebody has gone, oh, well, why is Fox News lying to me then? And I'm like, I wish I knew, but here are places you can get news. Try them. Well, yeah, Marlon, but I got to be honest with you. Is there a game that ain't dirty? PJ, you're a truck driver. Is there a game that ain't dirty there? I work in radio. You know, radio is chock full of scandal. You know, I literally have to sign a document every year. Well, I used to have to sign it every year. Now I think I sign it every contract term, promising not to accept money for playing music on the air. Like payola, plugola is like a whole thing. I mean, is there a business out there where there's not somebody who's done something sketch, where there's not, you know, corruption? Anything that exists with money is corruptible. Where do I get my news, Heather? Well, it depends. I am very much a fan of the BBC News, but mostly because I get pretty exhausted by local news. Local news and American news seems just so alarmist. You know, they're like, it's the end of the world. It's just very Chicken Little. The sky is falling and it's because of this. And I think that, so BBC News would be the number one for me because I like to get the international news there. I do have a New York Times subscription. I know that people want to say that the Times is a liberal publication, and they're not wrong. The Times does, you can see by that ad fontes that it does lean left, but it leans left less, and it's in the upper echelon of accuracy. So I have those two as my source, like my initial sources for the news. And then when I see something I need to look deeper into, I almost immediately will go to Reuters and AP News, because Reuters and AP News seem to be the least biased, most accurate sources that are covering all the news issues. And then if I can't find it there, or if I've found it there, but I still have questions, then usually I can find links to whatever the source documents are. Rolling Stone has a paywall, and I just don't feel like paying for Rolling Stone anymore. Rolling Stone, I mean, I used to get the subscription, right? And it's like a pamphlet now, Rolling Stone. So I just, plus I got a friend who's got a Rolling Stone subscription. So if something really good happens, he'll screenshot it for me. But for the most part, Well, Jacob, when you say you get your news from online articles, that's wide open for corruption and disinformation. You need to make sure that your online articles are sourced to something accurate. That's why I put that chart up. Scroll back and get the ad fontes chart. Because that way you can go directly to publications, or you can Google search the subject and then add the publication behind it. You know, sometimes because like I'll look for like BBC News, Al Jazeera News, France 24, you know, all of those are still reasonable sources for news. But what you want to do is you want to start with all those sources at the top of the accuracy chart. And then read what they have to say and click through the links to see what the history is. And most of them will link to the source material. Yeah, NPR, absolutely. NPR is up there too, Dan. Yeah, well, I mean, NPR, PBS, Reuters, AP News, all of those are really great sources. You know, they have the least amount of bias. They have the most amount of accuracy. Just look at that chart. It'll show it to you. So that's kind of what I'll do. So when the news is coming to me, I am just too exhausted by news to have all of the news coming to me. So I have BBC News and New York Times coming to me. And then when I see an issue that I need to know more about, then I'll start Googling it and looking for those publications to have it. There are times when some shit's going down in London and the BBC gets to be kind of annoying. And I'm like, all right, fuck you guys. And I flip over to like France 24 or Al Jazeera for a break. But for the most part, that's what I do. And then, like I said, New York Times. And then the important thing is I let the news come to me from those sources, but I don't let those sources be my only source for the news. If I have something I need to know about and it comes to me through them, I'm still going to go Google it and I'm going to look to see what comes up with PBS, AP, Reuters, Al Jazeera, whoever else, like the top echelon of that ad fontes chart, and that's how you're going to be able to discern what's true. You'll start to notice a pattern in the bias media. You'll start to notice, what's the word I'm looking for? Just you'll notice language. You'll notice the what is the fucking word I'm looking for? I don't know. Vocabulary. You'll start to notice certain words, certain phrasings. And then you'll start to notice when they start using things like, this may mean that the candidate did this, or which begs the question that did the candidate know this or whatever. You'll start to notice that a lot of these alarmist headlines of like how Harris is going to start World War III, because when you get down into those, and those are just garbage articles, but when you get down into them, if you don't know what to look for, you might start to think they're true. And that's why it's really important to start to recognize that language, that biased language, and look for stories that don't have that biased language. Like somebody posted a story about this guy that used to work in Harris's office, and he and another guy, and I think a woman, and the story is crazy. They decided that they were going to become their own police department, and they were going to be a liaison between the Black community and the police. And they were doing all this on their own time. Harris in her office had no idea. And this guy is like, he like bought an old cop car. He like bought a badge online, and he and his friends started like having liaison meetings with like police chiefs in random areas near them. And I think he had, because he worked in her office, he had access to some letterhead, and he wrote a letter on letterhead or something to that effect. While he was introducing himself as this police liaison officer for the whatever police organization he literally made up. And he's doing all this on his spare time. And he gets busted for impersonating an officer, and the whole thing blows up, right? And there's a guy swearing to me that Harris put him up to it, that Harris was in on it the whole time, and Harris this, Harris that, Harris that, And I was like, okay, cool. Show me. Show me where that happened. Show me where she had any knowledge, And they're like, she sent a letter out. She sent a letter on her letterhead introducing her to these police officers. And I was like, nope. Here's the article that says that he stole the letterhead. He wrote the letter. He signed the letter. She had nothing to do with it. And he was like, well, she's still, and I was like, she literally didn't. Here's the court case. Here's this. And he was trying to create like a Clinton-esque conspiracy because the guy like died before going to jail, or the guy died like in the trial process or something like that. One guy's dead. So he was trying to be like, she Epsteined him or something like that. And it's like, bro either offed himself or died of natural causes. I forget. I'd have to look up the information again, but I looked it up at the time. And I was like, where do you get this stuff? It's like that. It's like all the people that they try to attribute to Hillary Clinton having offed. Like, all of those people died perfectly aware. Like, everybody's aware of how all those people died, and Clinton had nothing to do with it. And B, their families are really tired of this shit, So in the end, I do have to get back. I do have to get out of here because I'm already way over time. In the end, I'm just saying you don't have to be nice to people who are assholes, but in these days before the election, if you can just provide people with truth over bullshit and try to get them to realize whatever it is that they're believing in and why it may not be true. Just try and hold them to the issues. What is that issue? What is that issue for you that you think she's failed on? What is it you think she should have done as vice president that you would that you consider to make her a viable candidate for president? And what is it that you're upset with her about that Trump has probably already done and done worse, right? Like like the Willie Brown appointment, right? He was like, she slept her way to the top. Willie Brown helped her in her career. And I'm like, okay, even if we grant you that, Trump literally put his daughter and his son-in-law in charge of foreign and domestic issues for the United States. So at what point was that nepotism okay with you? Whereas this 30-year-old nepotism in the form of whatever is not, right? Like 30 years ago, Willie Brown appointed her to 2 committees. But like less than 10 years ago, Trump put his kids in charge of our domestic and foreign policy. So, I mean, when you look at like facts like that, it's kind of hard to still be pro-Trump. People will, they absolutely will. And, vaya con Dios, you're going to have to let them go. But I'm at least going to try and give them the truth first. All right. I'll see you guys later. Have a good night. Everybody get that chart, please. Please get that chart and consider your sources for news because it's super easy. Oh, mwah, mwah. Love you, Ocon. Kisses to Brucey. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks, guys.